Okay, we are back. Boop. We can't do this by ourselves. Let's cooperate with other masters. They aren't opponents that we can take on by ourselves. There are 3 enemies. Then we'll need at least 1 more on our side. Then there are limited possibilities. People who are Magi and have a reason to fight against Caster. It'll be other masters. Tosaka, don't get mad and hear me out. Do you think it's feasible to cooperate with other masters? Alright, why do you say so? You must have a plan. Well, that's not the case, but Caster isn't someone the other masters can just ignore, right? So I thought we might be able to cooperate just to beat Caster. Yes, I was actually thinking of the same thing. I didn't say it because I thought you'd object. She says so unenthusiastically. She must not like the idea, but she must know that that's the only option we have. Well, there are 2 remaining masters now, Lancer's Master and Berserker's Master. There's no way to negotiate with Lancer's Master because his identity is unknown, but we have a chance with Berserker's Master Ilyasville. Berserker's Master. The white girl and the statue-like giant I met on the night when it all began. She sounded dangerous, but I don't think she's cruel. Ah! Yeah, I think she would at least listen to us. I don't think she'll ask for much in return either. You idiot. She's the most dangerous for you. She was only looking at you, Shiro. I don't know what she'll do to you. What do you mean? I've only met her once, so that can't be possible. Quit scaring me like that, Tosaka. We'll stop the negotiation right then. Right then, if that does happen. Then, Tosaka averts her gaze and gulps down her tea. But we can only bet on Ilyasville for now. If Archer is right about Caster's identity, Berserker would be her natural enemy. They knew each other when they were alive, so he should know Caster's tricks. He should know Caster's tricks. Berserker can handle Caster and Archer by himself. We can take care of Kuzuki while he does so. That's an optimistic thought, but does Berserker really know Caster? Yes. Archer told me that Berserker's true identity is Hercules. Well, technically it should be Heracles. If Caster really... I hate myself sometimes. If Caster really is that witch, Berserker might know her through the Argo expedition. It's just like how I don't get along with Kirei. Everyone has a natural enemy. Okay. But I'm sure everyone would dislike that priest. Based. Then it's decided. I love Kirei. But how should we find her? She hasn't appeared since that night. We should be able to find her because of her large magical... We should be able to find her because of her large magical energy, right? But we can't find her in spite of that. So doesn't that mean she's not in this town? I'd assume not. Ilyasville must be having fun, watching the Holy Grail War from a faraway place. Faraway place? Is she keeping watch over the town like how Caster was doing at the Ryudo Temple? I don't know, but I have an idea of where she might be. I heard from my dad that the Einsborn family has a villa in the forest on the outskirts of town. She says so with a tense voice. A villa inside the forest. Tosaka's expression tells me how dangerous the place is. Huh, fun. I thought I was about to interlude. That was such a long black screen that it was like getting ready for an interlude. I go back to my room and lie down. Drowsiness fills my body as soon as I do. I stare at the dark ceiling. We are going to Ilyasville's hideout tomorrow. No matter what kind of negotiations take place, it's obvious that we'll need energy. Tosaka said we wouldn't get a good result with tired bodies, so we decided to head out after we sleep. It's 5 hours until dawn. We have to go talk to her after that. The young master that appeared on the night I became a master. If Saber is a servant excellent in all aspects, Berserker is a servant specialized in battle. There's no servant that can match Berserker in simple combat. How can I talk to such monsters? Saying it makes me believe it's impossible to negotiate with them, but... Strangely, I don't feel any uneasiness. I think Ilya will understand us if we talk to her. Just like Tosaka, she will classify enemy and ally as a Magus. But I think she's a proper girl with all that aside. Man, what wishful thinking when I haven't even talked with her yet. I bet he would scorn me, saying that's a convenient fantasy. But what's wrong with believing? Is it wrong to have hope for someone you haven't met yet? I realize I'm gritting my teeth. The man who told me to drown in my ideals and die betrayed Tosaka in front of me. A guy with that much trust and power switched his allegiance so easily. Archer. My mind darkens. No, it's freezing. My head cools down thinking about what he did. I'm angry. I can't forgive him for betraying Tosaka. I can't forgive the fact that he cast away his partner. I will swear here, even if that may have been the very best action, and even if it turns out that it wasn't the right choice to survive, I will never do something like that. His actions have been getting on my nerves. He told me not to talk about ideals. I opposed him when he told me I cannot save everybody. But I agreed with his words somewhere inside of me. His words are correct. The superhero my father talked about is just a fantasy, and I accepted the fact that I would have to become like him to get as close to the ideal as possible. Not wanting to do so, I openly denied the idea, even though I accepted it in my mind. But this isn't on such a level. I can't approve of him. I can't approve of his actions no matter what the circumstances may be. I won't be able to keep standing if I approve of him. That's why I can't lose to you. My words do not disperse into the darkness, but stay in the room. A few hours until dawn. I keep repeating those words, even in my sleep. Unlimited Blade Works versus Berserker. Interlude 13-1. Unlimited Blade Works. She is alone with her thoughts in the darkness. It has been a day since she attacked the church and killed the priest. It has been a day since she declared that she can find it. No matter where it may be hidden, if it exists. It may not be the case for other servants, but there's no way someone versed in magic like her would not be able to find a relic as holy as the Holy Grail. Then there is only one answer. The Holy Grail is never hidden in this church to begin with. She sighs and puts her fingers on her temple. When she closes her eyes, heavy darkness assails her body. No, it is just a scream. It is not coming from outside. The scream comes from her body and mind, telling her that her fatigue is at the limit. It has been a month since she was summoned. Since then, she has done her best to win. Her master is an ordinary person without a magic circuit, and she is the weakest of the servants. To make up for that, she abused forbidden magic, collection from the people, the magical strings she placed throughout the town, and the control of the ley line using sacrifices. These are all the reasons why she was called a witch during her life. She has never used them before. She should have never used them, and she did not intend to do the forbidden. So, why did she end up using them for meaningless conflicts like this? She became a heroic spirit to take revenge, but she also knows it is meaningless to use the skills that labeled her a witch. She only uses trivial magic. She only created disasters that caused people to destroy themselves with their own greed. That was all the revenge she could manage, so what caused her to stray from her path so much? It is all for the Holy Grail. It is natural. Oh, this is hers talking. It is all for the Holy Grail. It is natural for me to go crazy for something that can grant any wish. That is a lie. She knows the true identity of the Holy Grail. She already knows what that thing is and why servants like her are summoned. It is true that most wishes can be granted using the Holy Grail that appears in this town. It will allow her to stay in this world with physical form, and it will allow her to start a second life as a human. But, how stupid. There is no meaning in such a thing. Saying so, she closes her eyes. She empties her mind. For now, she lets her guard down and rests her mind. She hears the sound of rain. It was a night without moonlight. The surroundings were pitch black, and she wandered with an empty mind. That is where she met him. With blood-stained body and frozen limbs. A chanced meeting that was more miraculous than any miracle. It was the mountain where the Ryudo Temple is located. Falling rain. She was stumbling aimlessly through the dense forest. She left behind a trail of blood. In her hand was a dagger that breaks all contracts. Her purple robe was wet with rain, and her limbs had turned white from the winter cold. She staggered around, holding onto the trees for support. She walked on, dirtied with mud, her breath ragged, reaching out her hand as if begging for help. She did not look like her usual self, filled with cool composure. No, Even the amount of magical energy was unlike her. She was exhausted. She only had a handful of power left. For a servant, magical energy is like a lifeline that allows them to stay in this world. But that was all lost. No magical energy was coming from her master. But that was only natural. She had just killed her own master. That was the cause of her exhaustion. She, servant Castor, was about to disappear alone as compensation for obtaining freedom. Oh, I didn't mean to skip the laugh, sorry. A dry laugh. It is funny that her body was not able to maintain itself, and that she betrayed her vulgar master. Moreover, it's quite amusing to see how badly she had underestimated the relationship between servant and master. She had done well. Her master was a legitimate magus. He was in his 30s, had a medium build, and had a few noteworthy characteristics. He had no will to fight, but dreamed of victory. He was a man that only waited for the other masters to kill each other. The man had not trusted Castor. He treated her coldly as she was a superior magus, and he insulted her for being inferior to other servants. Wait, what? Hang on, I need to reread that. He treated Castor coldly as she was a superior magus, and he insulted her for being inferior to other servants. Okay. She gave up on him after a few days. She acted as an obedient servant and filled the man's conceit. In short, she made him use his command spells for meaningless things. She told him he did not need the command spells. She made him believe that she would be faithful to her master even without the command spell. It was his fault for believing in her. The master used his third command spell for a meaningless thing and was killed by... How do you get tricked into using the command spells before the war even starts? What an idiot. Okay, I was like, he was probably a huge dick, and I'm pretty sure he also does awful things. I don't know if this is going to go into that, but the anime did. But I was like, I guess it still sucks to be tricked by that, I guess. And as I was thinking about what kind of person he actually was, I was like, it really doesn't suck that he got tricked. But anyways, it's even funnier now that he's that stupid. It was easy. She did not like the fact that the contract with him still existed, so she killed him using the rule breaker. She had made a mistake. Servants exist using the supply of magical energy provided by their masters, but not just magical energy. Servants are only allowed to exist in this age by being connected with people of this age. In other words, to lose one's master, the passport to this age, means being forced to return to the outside world. But she would not normally be this exhausted. She was the curse her master had left her. This was the curse her master had left her. Her master did not approve of her, as she was the better magus than he was. Therefore, he limited her magical energy to be always below his level. This magical energy level of a mere human cannot keep a servant in this world. She would normally be able to stay in this world for 2 days after losing her master, but now it's different. Her magical energy was drastically decreasing with every second, and the end was near. Probably a few more minutes. She would disappear if she could not find her next master in that time. She would disappear before she could fight, unable to do anything. She would be a pitiful servant, summoned only to be trampled upon. It was vexing. But it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. It had always been like this for her. She was treated unreasonably like this all the time. She was always used as a tool and was never understood by anyone. Yes, her life was always controlled by someone else. Her mind was destroyed at a young age to save a hero chosen by the gods. Just for the sake of a hero, the goddess of beauty happened to favor. The goddess cursed her to blindly love a man she had never seen. The girl betrayed her father, and she was even forced to betray her own country. There was no memory after that. After everything was over, the girl who was a princess was in an unfamiliar country. A girl that betrayed her father, the king, for a man. A witch that cut apart her own brother and threw the pieces into the sea to escape her native country. And the man who wanted it done cast her aside in order to become king, saying he could not marry a witch. She was controlled and taken to an unknown country, was marked as a witch, and was the only person she could rely on, threw her away. That is her origin. There is nothing people can blame her for, and people around her were aware of that. But still, people continued to demand her to be a witch. An evil to protect the king, an evil to be on the receiving end of evil superstitions. People wanted a convenient scapegoat that they could blame for any disaster. This pattern has never changed. People demand easily understandable evil to reassure themselves of their own goodness. In that regard, she was the perfect sacrifice. The father she could rely on was in a distant country. Nobody defended her, and people gladly blamed her for all the ugly things in their world. They decided that every ugliness was the witch's doing, that they are poor, that they hate others, that humans are ugly, and even that people die. So she merely accepted it. Since she could only live as a witch, she decided to live like a witch. She swore to show them the ugliness of the wishes they demanded of her. If people do not know their ugliness, so be it. They can stay ignorant, go to hell for their own crimes, and suffer forever. They won't be able to get out of hell. They will suffer forever as criminals, because they do not know what crimes they have committed. That is the reasons for existence she imposed on herself. That is the only role people gave to the girl, to the one called the witch, who never had a free will. But nobody actually wished for such a thing. The same goes for her as well. She seeks revenge against her will without having any wish for herself. Yes, until she met up with this stranger. A rustling sound. She peered ahead, even though she was barely able to stand. It's midnight. Who could possibly come to the forest at this time? What are you doing there? It was a heavy voice. She did not have the composure to check who it was. She just thought it was all over. She had no power to use magic. Her purple robe might have looked like a coat, but she was covered in blood. A woman covered in blood was hiding in the rain. It is obvious that's what such a person did. Anyone would run away first. What would they do after that? They would either call the police or pretend they hadn't seen it. It did not matter to her, as she could no longer move. That caused the last of her spirit to give out. Her last moment was cold and lonely, just as it was at the end of her true lifetime. Or so she thought. When she regained consciousness, she was in that place. In front of her is that man, the man who she met in the woods. So, you've awakened, Castor. Can you tell me your circumstances? Those were his first words. When she watched the man with blank amazement. Go home if I did a needless thing. If you wish for me to forget about this, I shall do so. The tone of his voice never changed. That was her first encounter with her master, Kuzuki Suichiro. Kuzuki was a strange man. Should he be called a ghost? He had no reason to live, but had no reason to die. He was just there, and since he existed, he followed whatever whim took him. He has no self. That was her first impression of him, and she thought it would be easy to turn him into a puppet. She grew to realize that the thought was a mistake. Kuzuki Suichiro does not have a past. He has no self because he has no past, but it does not mean Kuzuki Suichiro is empty. Kuzuki was a sincere man. He easily accepted her when she told him that she wanted him to be her master, and when she told him about her true identity. When she asked him, "Do you believe such a story?" he replied, "Was that a lie?" He accepted it after she told him it was the truth. And the most amazing part was the night they met. As she was about to disappear, she told Kuzuki to lay with her, after making a difficult expression. "Let me ask, do you want it rough or gentle?" Oh my gosh! After that, he made it love to her without waiting for her reply. To put it his way, they had sex before the Buddha. It seemed rough like Asura, but also seemed gentle like Bodhisattva. I'm so sorry for that pronunciation. Either way, the contract was completed. She obtained a new master and was able to stay in this world, and return to her role of being a witch. She still considers it to be a miracle. She would have disappeared before she woke up if she wasn't taken to the Ryudo Temple. The Ryudo Temple is a demonic place for servants, but it is a perfect summoning place once inside. As the Ryudo Temple is surrounded by a boundary field, it is suited for keeping anything inhuman. She was able to remain without disappearing because she was brought to the Ryudo Temple. Had it been any place else, she would have vanished after being taken there. As a result, she obtained the best ley lines and the best protection. She easily occupied the Ryudo Temple, figured out the mechanisms of the Holy Grail, and summoned Assassin as the fifth servant. But such things are trivial matters. She was certainly lucky on that night. Many miracles saved her, and she is now on the verge of victory, but they do not deserve thanks. She would have been fine with it even if those miracles had not occurred. There's only one important fact, a very small matter that is trivial for anyone else. For her, the fact that she was able to meet Kuzuki Suichiro is beyond belief. Is a miracle beyond belief. And I think that's a good place to end it. You know, a lot of that I'm pretty sure wasn't in the anime. Granted, the anime expanded on other things, so that was very interesting to learn about. And it just made me think of a consistent theme that we're going to see a little bit more of. And that... So, we'll see more of it later in this route, if I'm remembering things very correctly and how things are phrased and how worded and whatnot. But it's minor... Was this talked about in the Fate route? I don't remember. I genuinely don't. But so, I guess, sort of Heaven's Feel spoilers. It's not super... It's one of those things of, like, it's important, but you're not, like, losing anything in the story by knowing it, if that makes sense. Anyways, her story, so just skip the rest of this episode if you don't want, like, if you want to avoid every possible spoiler. This just reminded me a lot of, like, the story of, like, Anger Mainyu of, how all the world's evils were put on him, and then he was sacrificed for the purposes of, like the village, like his people, basically. So it's just interesting, like, that seems to be, like, a consistent theme in, at least, Fate Stay Night. Maybe it's in, like, other works, like Fate Grand Order and whatnot, and I just haven't, like, looked in, and I just haven't thought about it, like, that much. Or any of Nasu's other works, because I haven't read any of Nasu's other works, because I'm mid. But the idea of people putting all of their evils onto someone, but then still, like, using that evil for themselves. Like, again, Anger Mainyu was tortured and, like, horribly, like, disfigured. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I might be misremembering it, because, again, I don't remember if they talked about it in the Fate route, and I haven't seen Heaven's Feel 3, where they talked about it in, like, over almost 2 years, I think, since it came out. Whenever that was. But I'm pretty sure they, like, literally, like, tattooed, like, depictions of sins into his body. It tortured him and then eventually killed him. So it's just, like, the same idea of, like, a community placing all of their evil onto somebody, like, all of these, like, horrible things, and then using that evil for their own selfishness, if that makes sense. Like, she was casted as evil, but she was an evil that would protect the king, or take on all the superstition, or someone to be hated for this reason, or someone to be hated for that reason. And it's just an interesting theme, and one that I probably need to think about a little bit more. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to talk about here. So yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. We do be doing... Oh, I need to get one of these headphones off. How I do this is I just have one headphone covering my ear, just so I can hear myself speak. Because it's really hard to actually do voices and be like, is that the voice? If I can't hear myself. Also, I just prefer actually being able to hear myself speak. So that's how I tend to record most of the time, even if I'm playing, like, other games where I'm not, like, doing the stupid voices, you know? Anyways, let's get back into it. But it's not going well. No, should I have kept going? I thought that was, like, they were, like, gonna, like, move on. But it doesn't... No, she feels that everything she does is not going well. Her master will not be delighted with what she did. She has never had an interest in the Holy Grail. She would do her best to grant any wish of his, but Kuzuki Suichiro has none. A one-sided relationship. They do not get along well. It is not going well at all. So, the mummy hunter became the mummy. Even the rare witch, that's hard to say, is fragile, huh? She turns to the intruder. It is not her master that is standing there. It is the knight in red, Archer, with his true identity still unknown. Archer? I thought I ordered you to keep watch outside. Yeah, but I didn't see any enemies around. I got bored, so I came to check what was going on in here. I would assume so. The only enemy we have is Berserker. Even with him, we will go attack them ourselves once Saber is fully controlled. We have nothing to fear since you joined us. Isn't that why you came to my side? Why is it playing like battle music? Who knows? Don't you think I wanted to break my contract with that master? Don't you think that I didn't care who my new master was? There's some truth in Archer's words. But what does it mean? Archer had no intentions of betraying, but betrayed his master only because he wanted to break his contract with Tosaka Rin? I see. So you did not like looking after that little girl. Well, it is true that servants are dissatisfied with their master. It is natural for you to run out of patience with yours. No, she was perfect as a summoner, but some miscalculations occurred. And Castor, let me warn you, do not consider all servants to be like you. At the very least, Saber and Berserker were satisfied with their masters. A righteous hero can only be summoned by righteous people. Why tell me that now? A twisted master calls for twisted heroic spirits. You do not need to tell me that. That is right. Servants are determined by their summoners. Summoners with dark shadows in their mind cannot summon heroic spirits who are on the light side. In that regard, she and Ryder are not heroic spirits. A twisted master calls for twisted heroic spirits. As Ryder was one that was beautiful, she was also one that was pure. As Ryder was one that was beautiful, she was also one that was pure. It is ironic how the servant caster summoned is a fictional. It is ironic how the servant caster summoned is a fictional hero. But it is indeed strange once I think about it. You and Ryder are ones that oppose the heroic spirits, but you two are still summoned as servants. Well, the Holy Grail does not differentiate between good and evil, so I guess we'll summon anyone with powers, huh? Originally, a mixed spirit that had a heroic side would not have been called upon. Things went out of order starting with the Third War. Heroic spirits like Ryder and I were not summoned before that. That does not concern her now. She is not concerned about the true identity of the Holy Grail. Servant Caster's mission is to win this war. She is not interested in what comes after that. No, to be honest, that is not the end she wishes for. Enough with this meaningless talk. Get back to your station. I don't care what you're thinking. You are my servant now. Your life is in my hands. Put that into consideration when you talk to me. Understood. I had a panic attack. I had to check if I unmuted my microphone because I couldn't see the light. Understood. Then I shall live up to my master's expectation like an obedient servant. The knight in red goes up the stairs. Seeing him off silently, Castor lets out a long sigh. One more day until Saber surrenders. She does not have the Holy Grail yet, but she will approach the end when Saber falls. What will happen when the war ends? Castor will make every wish come true with her powers. It is not bad to live as a witch, like she swore before dying. But the reason will go away once the war ends. Even if she still has the will, her master will lose the reason to stay as her master. I will obtain the Holy Grail war. I will obtain the Holy Grail war. I will obtain the Holy Grail soon. Castor gracefully reaches out into empty space. Her hard work is about to be rewarded, but her expression is like that of a criminal about to be executed. Yeah, I probably should have kept going. It's fine. It's fine. I just kind of, I was like, you know what I mean? I saw many corpses. I died at that time and was reborn. I do not have any regrets. My eyes lost hatred there. My hands lost anger there. My legs lost hope there. My self lost itself there. Everything went away. It is not because I gave up that I believed nothing would save me. I just found out that it's natural. It's just that dying people will die and survivors will survive. I laid down on the rubble and stared at the burning field. I understood everything then. I thought I understood everything. But I still considered it. How wonderful it would be if I was able to save everything here. That's what I admired. I just wished nobody would have to suffer. That's why I tried to become a superhero. It was simple, and it seemed like an ideal existence. That's why I aimed for it. I knew where I had to be, but there were many ways to get there. I kept on running, wanting to get as close as possible, even though I did not know what was right or wrong. Many paths I took were crooked, and my destination was only getting further away. I'm taking the long way. I've been repeating this for 10 years since I got saved by Kiritsugu, but I won't regret it. I'm not as skillful as Tosaka. I'll take the wrong path and lose a lot of things at times, but I cannot discard them as meaningless. I have to present meaning for everything. I have to present meanings for everything I've trampled upon and everything that cannot be returned, so I cannot lose. I can't. I'm struggling so much to read this episode. I apologize. It can't be helped if I lose against someone else, but I can't. But I can win against myself. I can always fight back against my mind that tells me to give up. So that's all I swore upon. There's only one thing that I believed in and wanted to believe in. That's right. Even if I'm walking down the wrong path, I will not regret believing in it. I wake up from the light shining in. It's before 6 o'clock. The sky I can see through the window is a clouded one. I get ready and leave my room. My body feels well and there isn't that much pain from my wound. I shouldn't be a burden to Tosaka even if we end up fighting. Oh my. Glasses look great on everyone. You're here. Are you ready, Shiro? I'm ready, but Tosaka has transformed. What? You look like a new soldier that just stepped on a mine. Are you not ready yet? That's not it. Tosaka, you look different. Huh? Oh, these? I only put them on when I do detailed work, so don't worry about it. Well, I guess it's alright if you say so. What kind of magic is it? It looks so wrong and yet so right. That was such a funny way of putting it, Shiro. Alright, we're heading to the forest on the outskirts of this town. It's a huge woodland, unkempt and far from the city. It has rejected human interaction for a long time, so the forest is big and wide. You know how there are a few people every year that get lost in there for going in without any preparations, right? I nod silently. Our destination is the Einsburn Villa. That is said to be somewhere in that forest. I had to pause there because for some reason my brain just told me that villa is like the wrongest thing I've ever said, so I was like in full panic mode right there. Our fate will be sealed the instant our negotiations fail and we end up fighting. We won't be able to call for help, and it will be difficult to run away. We cannot escape that forest unless we defeat that giant berserker. Then let's get going. I stayed up all night figuring out where it could be, so we should be able to find it within half a day if we're lucky. We'll take a cab as far as the highway, so get some money ready. She starts walking with a big bag in her hand. I follow her with the usual Shinai bag in mine. But Tosaka, money for the cab's fine, but does that mean we'll be walking back on the way home? I mean, if you get enough money, you won't have to. We rode the taxi for an hour from the town. We drove on the highway, past many mountains, and reached the entrance to the forest. Of course, the forest does not have any paved roads. We finally reached the entrance to the forest after walking about a kilometer from the highway. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I got nervous once I actually faced it. The forest is dark, even though it's daytime. The tall branches block off the sunlight, and it's hard to see more than a few meters ahead, let alone to the end. Shiro, can you walk ahead for a bit? Fine, but you're the one who knows where she could be, right? I think it'll do no good if I go ahead. I complained as I entered the forest. Then... What was that? I felt a shock. I pulled back my foot. I only felt the shock for an instant. It's not that strong, so it hurt more if I hit my foot on the corner of a dresser. Well, in short, it was like static electricity. I thought so. I'm sure it's only for identification, but it seems she has the whole forest under surveillance. Hold on, isn't that bad? That means we got caught in an alarm, right? Then... I don't think it'll be a problem. We didn't come here for a surprise attack, we came to talk. So it would be in our favor to let them know we're coming. Oh. Be careful, though. It'll shock you a bit. I know. I can tell how bad it is by looking at you. She waves her hand and steps into the forest. Then... Oh! Tosaka jumps back with a funny scream. Whoa! I hear fire hissing. I want to believe it's my imagination that the leaves under Tosaka's feet are scorched. I guess there's a personal difference on the alarm? It was light in my case. I calmly analyze the situation. But it doesn't seem like Tosaka is listening to me. That does it, kid! I heard you laughing! Tosaka yells into the empty sky. She's so angry that she might go to fight instead of talk. Well, anyway, wait. Hang on, how did I read that? Hey, let me scroll. She's so angry that she might go to fight instead of talk. Yeah, I read that right. It just sounded weird. It seems talking bad about Tosaka is fatal no matter how far away you are from her, so I guess we'll refrain from doing so. We walk in the forest. We're the only people in this vast place. I don't hear any beast, and the grasses are dead like corpses. The endless rows of trees make me think this forest goes on forever. It's been 3 hours since we entered. Just as our surroundings start to blur together. Found it. Geez, I'm still stunned even though I knew about it. They really did build something like that in such a place. I follow Tosaka's stare. There's only darkness ahead. Between the trees, there is something unbefitting of these surroundings, visible through a crack so small that you'd miss it if you weren't careful. What's that? Is that a wall? It is a wall. Jeez, what's up with them? They brought that whole thing from their country? Tosaka complains and head to the strange object we can see in the distance. I still can't tell what it is, so I follow her. We get out of the forest. The endless forest quickly ends. No, it seems like the forest is scooped out here with a big spoon. The sky curving above us is gray, a giant dome. It seems more like an underground kingdom than a clearing. This is Eliasville's dwelling, an old castle built within the forest. A solitary castle without any visitors, too big for one girl, not to mention too desolate for anyone else to live alone in. Anyway, it does no good to be standing here. According to Tosaka, Eliasville knows we're here. Then we should go in from the front entrance as a sign that we're not here to fight. Let's go, Tosaka. Tosaka? Tosaka is looking up at the castle with an alarmed expression. Her face is tense as if she's confronting an enemy. Tosaka, is there something wrong? Yeah, there's someone else here besides us. Also, when Rain was looking up at it, it looked like a funny Photoshop of people, like, photoshopping themselves into, like, travel photos, if you know what I mean. Of course, this is where Ilya and Berserker live. That's not what I mean. There's someone else other than that. We're going in this way, Shiro. Wait! Tosaka starts running towards a big tree by the wall, and I don't have time to stop her. No, that's not all. She grabs onto a branch and skillfully climbs up. I look up in astonishment. Tosaka looks around and... she jumps and kicks at the castle. A shattering sound. The window breaks and the red figure disappears into the castle. Come on, there's something seriously wrong with this castle. Hey, weren't we here to talk? But what's done is done. I climb up the tree and jump on into the second floor window like Tosaka. We enter the hallway. Even before I'm dazzled by the magnificence of the castle, I sense the abnormality Tosaka is talking about. I hear sounds of fighting, swords crashing against each other. But would such a storm-like battle even be possible? Even the most fierce battle of swords, the battle between Berserker and Saber, did not create such sounds. Oh. Then I suddenly realize, this isn't the sound of swords crashing. This is one against many. There's literally a war going on somewhere in this castle. One side has to be Eliasville. This is Eliasville's castle, astute observation, Shiro. If there is a battle here, it could only be Berserker attacking the intruding enemy. I run. The sound is coming from below us. Considering the location we came in from, the battle is happening right in the center of the castle, in the guest hall. I run through the unfamiliar castle. This isn't the time to be talking. I don't know what's going on, but something terrible is happening. I run down the stairs. A fierce battle is happening nearby. Alright, this place is connected to the stairwell down to the hall. Tosaka confirms what's down the hall. The hallway splits at a T-junction, both branches leading to a terrace at either side of the hall. Let's part here. I'll go from this side, so you go from that side. It's better to split up. As we are now, we have no way to escape once we're found. There's no point in staying together right now. We don't stand a chance either way. If we're separated, there's hope for the other one to escape, even if the other one is found. Even though Shiro will absolutely sacrifice him if Tosaka is found. Tosaka walks down the hallway, facing east. I nod and go down the other hallway, the one heading west. Shiro. She suddenly calls out to me. You know, right? Don't do anything no matter what happens. We have no way of fighting right now. Run away if you think it's dangerous. Run away even if one of us gets caught. Saving others comes after you save yourself. She suppresses her emotions. It sounds more like a wish than a warning. And I think with that, we'll end it here. Just because I imagine everything that's about to happen is going to be very long, and I can feel my voice fading, as it tends to. So I will be back to record more of this in the next one, and I am excited for it. So yeah, with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. All right, we are back. We don't need a last time. I'm assuming you know what happens if you watched it. So we're just gonna go. I go around and come out into... Actually, I need to see what time I started recording this at so I don't go too short. Okay, cool. I go around and come out into the terrace. I see Tosaka emerge on the opposite side. She immediately takes cover, then peeks out. As soon as I follow her example and look down, we both gasp. Shinji? Why is he here? Shinji stands atop the rubble in the corner of the room, happily watching the scene. No, that's not the surprising thing. What I have to accept right now is the battle Shinji is observing. The black giant lets out a roar. The swinging axe sword blows up dust and grinds the rubble into powder. The mad warrior appears no different from before. No, his dreadful roar is louder now. The girl in white is behind the giant. Berserker's master, Ilyasville. An ever-smiling girl unsuited for murder. But that girl is now shivering and watching her servant with a face almost in tears. Her pale face is desperately trying to deny the despair in front of her. Someone help me. The girl's trembling lips mouth those words. No way. A storming whirlwind. Berserker's axe sword is repelled each time by the noble phantasm of one servant, the one reigning from the throne of rubble in the center of the hall. Yo, he's looking fly. Many swords are released. Each one of the weapons appearing from behind the man would cause certain death. They attack. They are like gushing water. The infinite noble phantasms not only repel Berserker's axe sword, but pierce his body. Pieces are blown from his body. The sword cuts through his body, penetrates his skull, and pierces his heart. But he still does not die. The giant regenerates every time he is killed, slowly but surely moving forward. 8 times already. He's been killed so many times, but Berserker still moves forward. The enemy greets him with a smile. The tragedy continues. Berserker is killed without even being able to go near the enemy. No way. It's not because Berserker is getting killed without being able to do anything. That man, that servant is beyond belief. The infinite noble phantasms he sent out are each a true noble phantasm. I can tell since I projected Archer's swords. They are the originals of every noble phantasm. The first ones from before they became legend. Who could he be, having an infinite supply of such weapons? No, first of all, there should only be 7 servants. Then he is the 8th one, someone that shouldn't exist. I can't breathe. Berserker defies description. His body is steel and his superhuman strength, and his regenerative powers on top of that. He is not someone you can match. But the 8th servant does not retreat from such an opponent, and overwhelms Berserker using the demonic swords and the holy swords he releases. When I look up, I can see that Tosaka is pale as well. It's only natural. The place below us is a land of death. We'll die instantly if we enter it. No, more than that. He is a demon. He has a brutality different from Berserker. That man wishes for battles only to kill others. But with such an enemy in front of him, the Black Giant is still the strongest. He does not stop, even if he is pierced or slashed all over his body. He receives the rain of noble phantasms, regenerates each time, and closes in on his enemy. It is an advance devoid of tactics. He is not thinking about countering the enemy's attacks. It is a savage fight where he advances on his enemy as long as he still lives. He will not reach the enemy. Berserker's brute courage will prove futile, and he will end his life as a mere target. The enemy understands that. That is why he is still standing there and provoking the foolishly advancing giant. The black giant does not have a way to win. It's something the enemy and even I understand, and probably even Berserker himself knows that. But the giant keeps walking forward. He knows no retreat and does not avoid the attacks. The man greets the figure with a smile. As expected from dogshit, you can only fight. I had hopes for you as a fellow demigod, but it seems I expected too much. The noble phantasms emerge from space. Gosh, it's been so long since I've done his voice, I don't remember how to do it. Letting out a laugh, he readies the noble phantasms behind him. Then, let me finish you off now. It will be unpleasant for you to come any closer. At his signal, the numerous noble phantasms descend on the giant. The giant repels most of them, and at the same time loses most of his life. The black giant shakes. The body of rock starts to fall, but the giant stands his ground and shakes the noble phantasms from his body. What? The exclamation of surprise comes from the strange servant. The black giant destroys a swarm of noble phantasms and moves towards his enemy. His body is dying already. With a hopeless, fatal wound, the black giant still advances. It is the result of a strong will. It is not madness resulting from being a berserker. The giant faces this hopeless fight with an iron will. Damn, a mere target survived my attack. The magical bullet— that was definitely not the voice I was doing just a second ago from. The magical bullets are fired mercilessly. Repelling it with his axe sword, the giant corners the man with his body slashed and his limbs pierced. He will not reach the man, but he still challenges the man because there is something he cannot give up. Then what is he moving forward for? Servants fight for their master, to protect the master's life. That is why that giant does not retreat. He can only move forward as a shield to protect the frightened master behind him. The giant continues his foolish advancement. The giant— did I say the master or the giant? I don't remember. The giant continues his foolish advancement. It is because he knows that he needs to take all the attacks in order to beat that servant without having his master killed. And when he reaches his enemy, that is when he wins. From the beginning, that has been this battle's nature. The man has to kill the giant before he reaches him. The giant has to approach the man before his life ends. It is a battle where the one to accomplish their goal is the one to win. The giant is aware of that, even if it is a battle with no hope of victory from the start. He roars. Coming out of his 10th death, his body explodes forward. He charges into the man like a bull, challenging a matador. You lowlife. Numerous arrows are released. Was it his last charge, or did he just get used to the attacks? The giant repels all the arrows. He approaches the owner of the noble phantasms. He swings his axe sword. The weapon that has not yet been raised against the man rips through the air. Heaven's chain. The black bull is captured by numerous appearing chains. Ooh. What kind of noble phantasm is it? The chain that appeared out of nowhere confines Berserker as if binding space itself. The chain twists Berserker's arms and bends them in a direction they should not go. The chains tighten mercilessly, trying to tear off the rock-like head. Damn, you still won't die. This chain once bound the Bull of Heaven, but even this does not seem to be enough to finish you. The man's voice. The hall is filled with the creaking sounds of the chain. It must be Berserker's power. The giant tries to break the chain that binds even space itself. Even if it sounds impossible, I'm sure the giant will be able to manage it. And the man acknowledges that as well. No! Come back, Berserker! I should have done that a little more emotionally, but I'm not going to. The girl screams. Iliasville commands Berserker to retreat using her command spell, but the giant is still bound by chains, unable to move an inch. Why? I told you to come back inside of me, so why? It is useless, you puppet. Not even the gods can escape these chains. No, it'll become stronger the more divine one is. There's a chain made to bind gods. I will not allow This is a chain made to bind the gods. I will not allow transportation through a command spell. And so, the man points at the giant as if to denote the end. Oh, the astonished girl's voice. It's over. It really ends. Bound by chains, he receives 22 noble phantasms on his defenseless body. The black giant falls silent after becoming a grotesque object. I don't even need to check if he's alive or not. Even if he is a great hero that overcame 10 deaths, he should not be able to get up after receiving 20. Yes, even if he is alive, he should not even have the power to breathe. And the battle ends. It was known from the start who was going to win. Berserker cannot beat that servant. No servants can beat that man as long as they are heroic spirits. All heroic spirits have things they are weak against when they were alive. All heroic spirits have things they were weak against when they were alive. Those are their greatest weak points. Then, what if there is a hero who possesses all of the noble phantasms, even the ones that killed each hero? This is the result. Even if he may have been stronger, he cannot beat that man. No. No, Berserker. The girl in white runs to the giant corpse, seeing it. The man mercilessly slashes the girl with the sword in his hand. A scream. The man slashes her eyes in one blow. And he pierces her heart, but it misses. No, he made it miss. The girl is pierced in her lungs and coughs up blood. The chains are broken. Shattering his binds, the black giant charges at the man. The man pierces the slow-moving target. A lance pierces the heart. He impales the giant with a lance very similar to Gay Bolg. That's it. The black giant dies for sure this time. The sword is pulled out from the girl. Leaving traces of red, the girl crawls to the unmoving giant. Watching in delight, the man walks forward. He throws down his sword. He will use his bare hands to finish off the dying girl. I'll die. I'll probably die. I'll surely die this time. There's no logic behind that servant. He will kill anyone that hinders him. I will surely be killed if I don't get away from here before he finds me. And Oh, I feel like it's like the Shiro thing to do. To go out there and try to save the day. But to be fair, last time I tried to save the day, I died. But in this situation, I would restrain myself. That's what I'm gonna do. I restrain my body that wants to go out. I see Tosaka biting her lips. I know. Tosaka wants to stop him as well. But we'll be the ones to be killed if we do so. We can't stop him. The man's arms reaches out for the girl. I can't breathe. My feet are on fire from wanting to jump out. My arms want to go over to the terrace. My body is shaking as if it broke down and it tries to go against my brain. It's as if I've gone crazy. I kill my voice and I kill my mind. I kill the girl below me as if to kill myself. And it ends. The man pulls something out of the girl with a smile. A red object that looks like a poisonous fruit. The thing in the man's hand is the girl's heart. My mind burns down. My brain that has gone white shakes with violent anger. Oh, I smell something bad. But I see, there was a fool that has been watching this spectacle, huh? With the girl's heart in his right hand. How insolent of you. A mere lowlife should not look directly at me. He shoots off at one of his numerous noble phantasms at me. The terrace falls. The man's noble phantasm destroys the wall of the castle. I don't move at all. I don't care about the rubble falling down. I don't have time to run, and I have no intention of running. I don't care even if a big piece of debris scratches against my back. I can't think of looking away from that guy. Oh, so does Saber's master. His red eyes react to my enmity. I'm going crazy. I'll die in the next instant. There's no way I'm not afraid of that. But my body refuses to run away and keeps screaming to defeat that enemy. The girl's corpse keeps ordering me not to forgive that man. It's only natural for me to go crazy. My mind churns with conflicting impulses towards life and death. It seems you have a will to fight, but that is nothing. You are worthless without saber. A sword appears in his left hand. A sword is mercilessly raised and should come down to kill Emyashiro. I keep glaring at the enemy. I can't even think about showing my back to him. Hold on, I know this guy. The man's sword stops. Oh, what voice did I give Shinji? I'm pretty sure it's just the voice I'm doing for Gil. Shinji, who is watching from the other side of the wall, walks to the center of the hall. Yo, long time no see, Emiya. I didn't expect to see you here, so I'm a bit surprised. Yeah, he changed his voice a little bit, it's fine. The man does not move. There's about 10 meters between us. Would I be able to get near him? Even Berserker could not close this distance. Oh, are you so scared that you can't talk? Well, I understand how you feel. I was like that when Ryder got killed. Yeah, that's right, that's right. I'm glad you let me go back then. There's nothing I can use as a weapon. But I don't care. My head is clear right now. I don't feel any uneasiness about projecting his swords right now. Hey, I'm telling you to look at me. I slightly shift my gaze in his direction. I look at Shinji while keeping the man in my view. That's right. So you do know who's the most powerful here. I gasp. It's not because of what he said. It's unexpected that he is saying so from the bottom of his heart. That's right. So you know, right, Emiya? You'll die now. How out of place. Why say something that's so obvious? Sorry, I didn't introduce you to him yet, but he's my new servant. He's more amazing than Ryder, right? Shinji puts his hand on the man's shoulder, and with a delighted face, beg for your life, Emiya. I might consider it. He says something unimaginable. I refuse. I do not hesitate. I answer right away without showing any signs of even considering it. Fine, then you can die. Shinji jumps back. The man, still with a cold expression, finally brings his sword Hold on. I won't guarantee your master's life if you move an inch. And the man stops his sword once again. Oh? Yo? Everyone looks up. Everyone down in the hall turns his attention to the girl on the terrace. Tosaka's hand is aimed at Shinji. Even though Shinji is not a Magus, he should know what that means. Tosaka's serious. If that man brings down his sword, she will kill Shinji as retaliation. Tosaka, why are you here? She doesn't answer, but just keeps her aim on Shinji. What, are you really gonna shoot me, you murderer? You're the one who killed first. Well, I don't care about that. Oh, that's her. Well, I don't care about that. The right to kill and be killed are the same. You should know that with your human instincts, even if you're not a Magus. Shinji retreats weakly, being stared down by Tosaka. And... The man just watches it in delight. He looks at Tosaka. Then, I think there was a strange shaking for an instant. I see. You know you'll not be able to kill me, so you went after the master instead. You brought on the negotiation because you know I would not stop even if you killed my master. That's right. You wouldn't stop even if I killed Shinji. But you can consider it in this situation, right? You can save Shinji right now. If you're a servant, it should be a hard blow for you to lose your master. I see. You are pretty clever. That is your only option if you want to save that scum. His sword disappears. He turns his back to me as if he's lost interest. Ugh. What are you doing? Who told you to stop? No, the situation has changed, Shinji. She will be perfect as the vessel. Huh? Shinji stops breathing. His face filled with irritation suddenly turns into a dirty smile. I see. Wow, I'm glad you're still alive, Tosaka. I see. I'm relieved as well. I've known you for a long time, even though you're like that. It'd be discouraging to have you dead already. Laughing, Shinji claps his hands. It's so strange. Shinji shows no fear even though Tosaka can end his life. It seems an overwhelming joy is numbing his emotions. Oh well, with that aside, how about it, Tosaka? Do you want to forget about Emiya and team up with us? Us? That's right, you should know that Castor is stocking up power. The Ryodo Temple is the altar this time. It's a bit unfavorable for us if she's taking position there and stocking up magical energy. Shinji says with both his hands raised. That's an obvious fact. If I have to add, it seems Shinji doesn't know Caster obtained Saber and Archer. You can tell, right? There's not much chance of victory by myself. I beat Berserker's Master, but that isn't enough. We can make one that will beat even Caster if you join us. Shinji invites her with confidence. To that, I refuse, Shinji. I don't know who you're connected with, but there's no way I would follow a guy that is being used. Tosaka refuses him with a twitching brow. What? Can't you tell I'm warning you since I've known you for a long time? You should get some intelligence to observe what's going on around you. You're the only one who considers Mato Shinji to be a master. Don't you realize it by now that you don't have talent as a Magus? You. Shinji's face stiffens up. The harsh words must have caused him to forget that his life is in Tosaka's hands. Do it, Gilgamesh! Kill Emi and Tosaka! Shinji orders his servant. What? I told you to kill them! It should be easy for you to kill them before I get killed. No, this is too bad, but we're out of time. It'll rot if we take any more time. The man shows Shinji, who is walking up to him in anger, what is in his right hand, a red piece of meat. It is the still throbbing heart he ripped out of that girl. Shinji grits his teeth in vexation. Damn. Don't regret it, Tosaka. I won't let you be on my side now. Shinji runs towards the gate. The other one stays, and after watching his master's disgraceful behavior... So, that is it. You have a good friend. With those delighted words, he leaves the room filled with rubble. And I think with that, we'll end it there. And honestly went faster than I thought it would. We didn't get to see as much of the fight with Berserker as I wanted to. It was done really well in the anime, and I really like how action scenes are written in this, so I was looking forward to it. So it's a little sad that we didn't get to see it, but it's whatever. So yeah, with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye. Alright, we be back. The sun sets and the hall is filled with darkness. Again, intros are always so awkward in this series, because in like my Let's Plays, it's just like, hey, we're back, yada yada yada, talking about everything that's going on and what I'm doing and junk, but here it's, hi, time to read. The sun sets and the hall is filled with darkness. We came here to look for an ally, but the only thing remaining here after turns of events is this empty castle. Weird sentence. So, what will we do now? We can stay here if we want to go into defense. There's food and beds here. If we fix the walls, we can probably manage to protect ourselves inside the castle. That's the best thing we can do if we want to protect ourselves. But we chose the path to fight because we couldn't do so. No, it's meaningless even if we fortify. Any defense will be penetrated once Caster completely controls Saber. And even if we do survive here, it doesn't matter if Caster obtains the Holy Grail. Not only us, but the people in town will suffer as well. And there's only one thing to do. We'll get Saber back before Caster controls her. We have to defeat Caster, Archer, Assassin, and Kuzuki-sensei by ourselves. Very easy. I silently nod. Since we cannot get Ilya's help, that's all we can do. The sun will completely set soon. We'll have to get out of this place before that and attack Caster before Saber is completely controlled. Oh, then is this the next day? Night stay night? It's a simple plan. The process will change depending on the situation. Our only objective is to confront Caster as a result. It doesn't even matter if that happens for an instant, if that only happens for an instant. Caster is the weakest when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. Even if she may be a servant, there is a chance of victory if we can fight our 2 against 1. Tosaka's jewels and my projection magic. We can win if we use all of our abilities. That's the results we came up with, and we go out into the forest believing in it. We don't talk after that. There's only one reason not to. We're desperately bluffing to try to deceive ourselves. The morning light is gray. The sun is blocked by clouds obscuring the dawn. A cloudy sky is above us. The sky is more gray than black, and it reminds me of that time 10 years ago. It should rain soon. An impure gray sky. The man is standing below the cloudy sky. So, you did come. I know your personality. I knew you would come back with some sort of plan. He stares at her with cool eyes. I'm sorry, Archer. I can't live up to your expectations. We have nothing to start out with. We thought for a day, but we couldn't come up with anything. What? You might not believe me, but we're here today to die honorably. But I guess we're still a bit lucky if you're here. It means Saber is still opposing Castor. So there's 4 enemies now. Oh, that's Sphero. If we pass Archer, we can fight Castor and Assassin head on. Our plan is that we would fight Archer together and confront Castor with the 2 of us. That's the lie Tosaka made up. I see. Castor and Emiyashiro. The scales tipped to Castor, huh? Archer's question is a loaded one. Yes. I hate my own personality, but I guess I can't change it since I'm born with it. I'm inhuman at the very end. Saying so with an emotionless voice, Tosaka steps forward. Shiro, Archer will only attack you. I won't back you up. I'll try to fight Castor while you get killed. Tosaka apologizes with her back turned, confessing that she intended to use me as a sacrifice from the start. How stupid of her. She didn't have to say such a thing. Don't worry about it, you idiot. I know your personality. Huh? You're not one to do anything without a chance of victory, right? That's why I knew. This is certainly the only way we'll have a chance of winning. Shiro. Her back shakes a bit. Oh, that's all the apology I need. Something's missing from this? I'm not gonna spoil it in case you don't know, but something's definitely missing from this. Go, I'll keep Archer busy. I'll keep him here at least until you make it into the church. I controlled my breathing and turned the gears off of the engine. I feel great. I should be able to project his swords in this state. Thanks. I'm sorry, Shiro. Tosaka runs. Archer lets her go as if he has no interest in her. Well done. It seems you understand your own powers. He emits an intent to kill. Trace? On. I project his twin swords. The battle should be decided in an instant. I only see Archer and the back of Tosaka running to the church. Was it over in one blow, or was it able to last a few seconds? The battle is ended. I look up at the sky powerlessly. A gray cloud is overhead. It should rain soon. The sky is near and the clouds block my way like a wall. What? Tosaka, please be safe. Tosaka, please be safe. Sorry, I had to reread that line. My body is burning. I hear the sound of flames from the church. The sun is too far away from my outstretched hand. It looks like the time from 10 years ago. That was the longest bad end ever. Even though people have said this Tiger Dojo is meaningless, it is already in its 23rd session. Well, this is a sudden announcement, but this is the last Tiger Dojo in Part 2. Huh? But we have one more Tiger Dojo in Part 2 according to the schedule. Don't talk about the 24th one. I have no business with a weakling that'll die that way. Osu. I don't quite get it, but this is the last Tiger Dojo of Part 2? Yup. There was a rumor on Part 1's final Tiger Dojo that this corner would be powered up, but I won't fall for something like that this time. We will remain here alone and preserve this modest paradise. Heh. I feel something rebellious. Could this devil child be plotting something again? Oh, that's a misunderstanding. I'm just thinking that I might make you feel lonely because I can't be here often during Part 3. You can't come to the dojo? Could it be Ilya? Yep, I'll be busy taking part in the main storyline. Yeah, it ended up being like this in the Reen route, but Part 3 is when my true worth comes out. It seems we will be taking fewer parts in the main story. My condolences to you. This is the difference between a heroine candidate and the one who is not even considered to be a candidate. Well, you can rest assured that I'll still be your friend even after I become a heroine. Let's see, when I take over the storyline, I can make you my servant. Hey-yo. What are you doing? I'm saying this out of good faith. I don't need it. I don't need love if it's this painful. Actually, you're disqualified to be my student. You will be too bright in my eyes, even if you become a heroine. Get out! Get out! I'm quitting as well. You stupid. I won't forgive you even if you apologize. She's gone. Well, this is fate. If my cute student will become a heroine, it is my role to, as her master to be hated. Fight, Ilya! Go after Sakura and take her spot as a heroine. Don't come back here, because you'll take us away some of my roles. But it's kind of lonely that I have to do the Last Tiger Dojo Part 2 by myself. I'm lonely, but I'll do my best. Fight alone, me. Well, this dead end is a bit special. It's too reckless to enter battle with just Shiro and Tosaka. There's no way you can win. And you know you might have something against him, but go ahead and shake hands with the cooperator that appeared. Huh? For those of you for whom the coordinator didn't even appear, you're a failure as a main character. How can you not save a girl that's about to die in front of you? The event at the castle is an important part of the story that reveals a cause, and that has been hidden up to now. You have to see it. Tosaka's route is almost the main character's route, so go ahead and solve the problem. Well, this is it. Tosaka-san's route is entering this climax. There will be a series of fast events without a dead end after this, but let me give you one piece of good news. Tosaka-san's route has a true end and a good end. I can't tell what each of those is about, but the condition for seeing them is how faithful you were. It's either only one or flowers on both hands. You get to find out after the battle. Alright, everyone, I'll be waiting in part 3 of Tiger Dojo. So I guess I was supposed to save Ilya. I don't know, seems a little contradictory to put me in a dead end or a bad end after the last time I jumped out to save a friend and then have a bad end after I don't. My frozen body bursts. My feet lift me up and my arms grab the railing at the same time. I see Tosaka as I do so. She is biting her lips in anger while watching the tragedy below us. I know. Tosaka wants to stop him as well. We'll be the ones to be killed if we do so. She can't stop him. That goes the same for me as well. I know it's stupid of me to die trying to save a dying girl. I don't care about that. I just can't leave her be. That's all that fills my mind. I jump down over the railing. Tosaka and Shinji both look in surprise at the intruder, but the man does not even look at me. The man reaches for the girl's body. Stop! I yell. I stop him with all my might. Oh? The man stops his arm, and he slowly turns to me like death that found its new prey. Interlude 13-2. Going back over a month, he was summoned into this world before anyone. He was not summoned in this country, a faraway foreign land. The land is always covered in white, the sky is always gray, and the castle is built within a hidden mountain. It is always winter in that land. Coldness and the stagnation, barrenness and longing. As they cut all ties with the present world and await the reproduction of the miracle, they are like living corpses. The cold winter air stills all their human warmth. And the stagnant world does not allow them a new lifestyle. The family is a seeker of the Holy Grail. Spring does not come for the Einsborn family until their wish is fulfilled. It has been 10 centuries since they started the search for the Holy Grail. As they used every possible method to attain their goal, they were eventually able to forge the Holy Grail. But even then, all they can build is the vessel. The divine mystery that should dwell in there is empty, and they keep building vessels that will never be filled. But a foreseeable end comes to them. They perform a ritual to fill the vessel with help from outsiders. The result is both a success and a failure. The Holy Grail is made. The Holy Grail should be filled with that method. But they make many enemies at the same time. Even though they should be the owners of the Holy Grail, they have been degraded down to common magi that donate help. Their tenacity is abnormal. No, they have been obsessed since that time 1,000 years ago when they almost obtained the Holy Grail. They broke the rules and constantly pulled out the strongest card. In the first one, they did not have time to do such a thing. In the second one, they finally found a loophole in the rules. In the third one, they summoned what they shouldn't have. And in the fourth one, they were sure of their victory, having the strongest card and its master. The result was a total failure. The servant and the master they selected betrayed them. I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna sound super embarrassing, but I almost asked, wait, who was the Einsburn's master in the Fourth Holy Grail War? And then I was like, oh, right, I'm a loser. I'm a failure as a Fate fan for not remembering that little tidbit instantly. The man destroyed the Holy Grail, leaving behind his wife and daughter in the Winter Castle. They were infuriated with the man's betrayal, and they lamented their mistake. Outsiders cannot be trusted. Their family, and with their perfected magic circuits, will be the only ones who obtain the Holy Grail. They had insurance to begin with, and on the fifth one, they finally prepared the strongest master and servant. It was him. 2 months before the Holy Grail War began, every rule was broken for him, Berserker to be summoned. The days that followed were to only hurt the master. The command spell engraved all over the girl was used to control Berserker. It did no good as a magic circuit and only drained her life away. Even the slightest move on Berserker's part caused the girl to scream in pain. It was only natural. The Holy Grail would appear in 2 months. The only things keeping him in this world were the girl's magical energy and her command spell. Berserker was not created from the magical energy of the Holy Grail. Even if the girl may have been special, to keep Berserker in this world using her own magical energy was like having her life taken away. Knowing that, they just still not allow for her to rest. They abandoned them in the winter forest, filled with hungry beasts. They gave them over to possess corpses. They threw them in a waste yard full of failures. The only way for the girl to survive was to rely on the giant she had been given. She survived the training that was more like torture. She would let the giant attack the oncoming enemies. She would let out screams of anguish, but she allowed him to attack every one of her enemies. He does not know himself, when the process became a special one for him. In contrast to her young appearance, she hated whining. Everything that came out of her mouth was an insult. She must have instinctively known that she was going to murmur something. She would get stronger when she would insult and hate someone. The girl scorned Berserker for being ugly and cursed his existence. It was only natural. The girl would not have had to suffer if he had not existed. She would not have been thrown in hell if she had not been chosen as a master. The girl insulted the giant every chance she got and used him to take out her anger. The pain had lessened by the time she mastered Berserker's control, which was when the Holy Grail showed signs of its appearance. The girl took away the giant's sanity as if in revenge, treating him as a mad warrior. But he already knew that this was the girl's desperate opposition. The girl did so to hide her weakness. She walked with pride as if saying that she could live alone, and that she did not need any friends or collaborators. It was a bluff to ignore the fact that she was fated to have nothing. You're strong, Berserker. The winter forest. The girl timidly touched the arm covered in blood. Surrounded by hungry beasts, the girl was prepared for her death, but desperately denied it. At that time, he was not able to move without an order from his master, and he was the first to be attacked by the beasts. The beasts bit off pieces of his neck, head, and limbs. With the scene in front of her, the girl screamed. As he had his sanity taken away, he cannot recall what she said back then. But the girl yelled not for her sake, but for his. Even though her body was destroyed, whenever he swung his arm, she endured it for his sake. That's why they were both covered in blood. The giant was covered in the beast's blood, and the girl was covered in her own blood. He remembers the winter forest, the weight of the girl that rested on him, crying tears of anguish, and he realized, in that small, cold castle, he was the only one she talked to. No, Berserker! Her figure appears in his vision. It is just like that time. The tears he did not see on her since she became a complete master. The girl is running to him in tears, and the man slashes her. The golden foe gashes her eyes with a single slash, taking her light forever. Her face is covered in red. She still runs in spite of that, but she falls over a piece of rubble as her eyes are cut. The slender body falls over. There. The enemy's sword is brought down. The sword misses her heart. The girl is coughing up blood as her lung must have been pierced. It is not an instant death, but it is fatal. With her eyes slashed, her lungs pierced, and her servant eliminated, she has nothing now. So she should at least die peacefully. It might be a salvation if she would just go to sleep right there. But, it hurts. It hurts, Berserker. The girl crawls, leaving traces of blood. Crying in pain, she crawls towards the black giant. How much power was left in him? Breaking the chains with all his might, he charges at the man. Huh? The mnemonic lance is thrust. The heart-piercing lance impales the giant. That ends it. The man pulls out the lance as if nothing has happened, and the remaining power in the giant completely disappears. His body disappears. All the power that was giving his body form has disappeared. So all that is left for him is to disappear. As he ran out of magical energy, there's no way for him to stay in this world. He falls, but in his last living moment, he sees the girl fumbling around for him. Power returns to his falling body, the law of magic that constructed him, the regulation of the world that hates inconsistencies, the body that is crumbling away like sand. You're strong, Berserker. He pushes aside all power, trying to eliminate him, using his own power of will. He cannot disappear yet. He is probably the only one she relied on. He has to answer the solitary girl that believed in him, although she insulted him. Where are you? I don't know. It's so dark, Berserker. With her eyes slashed, the girl crawls with her hands stretched out. She must want to feel him, as she cannot see now. The bloodstained hands grope through empty space, trying to verify his presence. There is no power left in him. There's nothing he can do. Berserker will fall here and die. His body has died and there's no power left to support him. So I'm fine. I won't lose to anyone. As long as I have you, Berserker. But that cannot be allowed. His mind is dead. Supporting his body with his will that should no longer exist, he parts from this world. His body is still standing, just as it was when he was invincible. As if to say his body has to be invincible until the very last second for the girl that depended on him. And the girl reaches him. The hand that was grasping through empty space finally touches something. Oh. Coughing up blood, the girl crawls to the hard figure. She cannot see, but she can still feel him. Berserker hasn't lost yet. She cannot see anymore, but Berserker is still strong like always. That's good, Berserker. Stay there, okay? Strength fades from her body. She is hurt and scared, but it's all right as long as he's here. He always protected her. He was scary, but he was really kind. His big body was like that of a dad, and she wanted for him to pick her up once. I'm not scared anymore, even though it's dark. You're strong, Berserker. I'm safe if you're like that. She rests her body on him. It feels as though he'll rest one of his big, solid hands on her head. It's probably true. He should be patting her head when she opens her eyes. It's a bit cold. Her body is cold. Recalling the forest from that time, the girl smiles. It happened so long ago. Recalling the giant that protected her even when injured, the girl peacefully falls asleep. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Alright, we back. We're finally back to where the first episode basically ended. Almost. We're almost to where the first episode of the past three I shouldn't say the first episode. I recorded 2 episodes ago as the first one of this session. So we're back to where we were 2 episodes ago, almost. The man reaches out for the girl that went to sleep. Stop. Stop. Stop in the name of justice. I yell. I don't consider the personal danger, nor what could happen to me. Oh. The man stops. Behind him stands Shinji, surprised at the sudden intruder. The man smiles ominously. Stop! My shaking throat speaks up before I can think. But there's no way that man will stop. I couldn't even tell him to stop. The man pulls something out of the girl with a smile. A red object that looks like a poisonous fruit. The thing in the man's hand is the girl's heart. My mind burns down. Fear of being killed mixed with my desire to kill him. So, there was an audience. I understand how you want to observe my gallant figure, but the girl's heart in his right hand. Watch what you say. No one will give orders to a king, you lowlife. He shoots off one of his numerous noble phantasms at me. Skip this scene? Yes. Based? And we walk to her. The center of the hall. With the sunlight coming in from the ceiling, the girl is sleeping amongst the rubble. Her eyes will never open again. Looking closely, the girl is not white at all. She has red all over her, and she looks nothing like she did before. It's not your fault. You know, right? We couldn't have saved her. I know. I've been taught that there are people I can and people I cannot save. I know it'll put my life in danger if I try to do something beyond my capabilities. But still, I still wanted to save her. I don't want a child dying in front of me. I don't want anyone dying in front of me. It is more painful and scary than anything else not to be able to save someone asking for help. There's no way I can apologize, and I don't know her well enough to apologize to her. This girl is unrelated to Emiyashiro. I know that without having to be told. So why? Oh. Why are these eyes crying? Why? Tosaka. Why? You should have known we'd be killed if we appeared in front of him. So why did you try to save Iliasville? No matter what the results may be, she was our enemy. So how can you go so far for her sake? Is it an inquiry? Tosaka's eyes are serious. I have no reason. I stopped him because I just wanted to save her. There's no other way to explain it. After glaring at me. I see. I thought you were abnormal before, but I'm sure now. Shiro, your way of life is really distorted. She tries to open a lid that I've kept closed for so long. Distorted? That's right. It's wrong to live thinking that others are more important than you. Look, I'm not talking about the common opinion that we save others so we can be loved. With such hypocrisy aside, we have to put ourselves first. Well, there are people with others as their priority, but you're something special that you can't put on a scale. It's like the scale itself. So why do you try to destroy that scale to save someone you don't even know? Yes, if you truly were a person who was merely alive, such denial would be fine, but you cannot do that. You can't pretend you are not living for yourself when you have such a strong sense of personal conviction and self-awareness. If you continue something like this, you'll eventually break down. No way. I can't break down. I'm doing this so I won't break down. I'm trying to save people that I could not save so that I can hold my head high. No, you're broken already. So tell me, I don't know what happened to you 10 years ago, but that must be why you're so screwed up. Tosaka looks like she's crying. Why does she have to make a face like that? It's as if she knows I'll live a thankless life, so she's trying to stop me. You were like this at school. You were so calm in front of those bodies. Even I mistook them for corpses, but you knew right away that they were alive. I always thought that it was strange. You never had proper training as a Magus, but you got calm every time you got into a fight to the death. You would get enraged by seeing corpses, but you didn't feel any shock or disgust. It's probably because corpses are something you get used to seeing. You got used to seeing. You saw something gruesome 10 years ago, right? I got used to seeing them? Well, it's true that it wasn't my first time seeing a corpse. The students at school, Ryder who got her neck twisted off, and even this girl sleeping in front of me now, I think they've died a natural death compared to that time. But she's wrong. The fire 10 years ago saved Emiyashiro. That cannot be the main reason why Tosaka is criticizing me now. That's wrong, Tosaka. I was saved, that's all. Saved? So you were saved from the fire 10 years ago, and that was by Emiya Kiritsugu? Yes, but that's it. That isn't the reason for anything. My heart aches when I answer. My body is telling me that it's a lie. Then there was something else. Something you're always regretting, or something Emiya Kiritsugu took from you as a compensation for saving you. There's no such thing. Kiritsugu merely saved me, and you talk about taking something from me, but at that time, I had nothing to give. I saw many corpses. I died at that time and was reborn. I did not have any regrets. My eyes lost hatred there. My hands lost anger there. My legs lost hope there. My self lost itself there. So why? Why do I have this self-consciousness that Tosaka is speaking of? I have accepted death. I knew I was going to die. Even if my body was saved in that situation, there's no way my mind could have been saved as well. At that time, I was empty, and I just admired something sacred. Oh, that's right. I remember now. No, I didn't even put it into my memory, so I didn't realize until now that it's what really saved me. Shiro, did he make you establish a contract or something? No, he didn't take away anything. I only received a world like hell. In the place where everyone but me died, I was saved. Nobody saved me, and I wasn't able to save anybody. And at the very end, he granted me something that I thought was a miracle. I remember those eyes that looked down at me and the voice pleading for me to live. At that time, I thought not about the fact that I was saved, but the fact that there's someone there to save me. The fact itself is so wonderful, and it's such a miraculous thing. That's why I admired it. I had nothing, and there was nothing remaining in me. I admired the first thing that came into my sight. That's the only thing I had. That's the only emotion I felt after I was saved. I was happy. I cried. That's all I could think about. So that's all the emotion I could create. Yeah, you're probably right. It's a sort of for me to put priority on others before me. There's something seriously wrong with the procedure. But I was the only one who got saved. I thought about it at that time. That if such a thing happened again, I would save everyone in place of all those I could not save then. I'm telling you, that's crazy. Look, if you were saved, take care of yourself. I'm sorry for the people who got killed, but it's only by chance that you were saved. Then you should take full advantage of your good fortune. You suffered such a hell, so it'll be a waste of you if you don't have fun. Tosaka is seriously angry. Yeah, that makes me happy. I finally realize now because Tosaka is that kind of person. The question I've been wondering about all by myself. I wanted to be a superhero, and I always try to help others. I knew there was something wrong with the method, but I did not understand what. But it's so clear now. It's because of this person that is seriously angry for my sake. What? You still don't understand after I've told you this much? You really make me mad. If you're really that stupid, I'll break my I know, I told you you're right, didn't I? Then... But I can't listen to your warning. I realize there's something wrong with me, but it's alright. Because there's no way that wanting to help people can be a mistake. So, I answer with as much gratitude as I can possibly put in. Jeez, I can't say anything if you make a face like that. Maybe it got awkward as Tosaka turns and walks away. And then... Well, I guess it can't be helped. I guess I'll do something about it. She sighs as she says this. I think that's a good place to end for right now. I'll record, I don't know why I always tell you guys, like, oh, I'm going to record one more episode tonight, or I record this many in one night. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to record one more episode tonight. Hopefully get us basically back up to speed where 2 episodes ago left us off. Haha, stupidly long bad end. Absurdly long. That was obnoxious. I hated... Just, if it's a bad end, 5 minutes. Just 5 to 6 minutes tops, you know? Somewhere in that area. Or just a minute. Or, you know, anything if it's a bad end. Don't waste almost 20 to 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Right, we do be back. The sun is setting. We return to the hall when the sky turns red. The corpse of the girl is not on the mountain of rubble. We just buried her in the courtyard. I don't know if it's normal for servants, but the black giant turned into sand. But we put the sand in the same coffin as the girl. Well, do you have any ideas of what to do now? I'm still thinking. Why is it's so much quieter now? I'm still thinking. The situation just got worse. I can't think unless I get this sorted out. Yeah. The strongest enemy, Ilya and Berserker, are gone, but an unknown foe came out in their place. There should only be 7 servants, but he makes 8, right? He's not a servant that should exist. How did Shinji make a contract with such a guy? An 8th servant, huh? I don't think we can treat that man as a servant. He has a heroic spirit, but that dominates all others. He has seemingly infinite supply of noble phantasms, and he is the devil without any human emotion. Gilgamesh. That's the hero appearing in the myth of the ancient Mesopotamia, right? Yeah. He's half human, half god. He is the king of the Uruk, and the seeker of immortality. He is said to be the tyrant that obtained everything in this world, but I don't think he was that crazy. He defeated Berserker so easily, he might be stronger than Saber, even if she has her true powers released. Tosaka doesn't sound as sharp. It doesn't seem like it's because there's a new enemy. What's wrong? You sound like you want to say something. Well, he was certainly strong. He has so many noble phantasms, so he's powerful, right? But I'm wondering how it really is. I felt that there wasn't much difference between him and Berserker. She ponders. Huh? Could it be that Tosaka doesn't know about his powers? No, he himself is about as strong as Saber or Berserker, if not weaker. First of all, heroic spirits are as strong as their fame in the place they're summoned, right? There aren't many people here that know about Gilgamesh. That's true, but the change in power from popularity isn't that big. It seemed to me like that Goldie had an unfair advantage. Tosaka calls him by a strange name. Well, with that aside, he did. All the noble phantasms he has are real. No, they are the original of the real ones. Gilgamesh is a hero of the oldest myth, and he was a king that indulged in every possible luxury. Then it shouldn't be strange for him to own all the originals of the legendary weapons. Oh, then what? The noble phantasms he used weren't noble phantasms, but just weapons? I'd assume so. I bet his noble phantasm is his treasury. I think his noble phantasm is the treasury where he kept all the weapons he collected during his life. I see. Then it's natural that Berserker couldn't beat him. Every heroic spirit has a weak point. If he has the originals of every noble phantasm, he just needs to take out the one that is the most effective against his enemy. That's right. If there is a chance of victory, it is that he is not a master of those weapons. He is not a wielder that has mastered his weapons to the limit, so I think there's still a way to beat him. But with all that aside... Hey, Tosaka, this has nothing to do with this, but why did you call him Goldie? Huh? I guess, he had golden hair? What are you saying? You should have called Saber that if that's the case. It seemed like you said it with a lot of meaning behind it. I think you noticed something, right? Huh? Don't hide it now. You noticed something, right? You're wrong. It's nothing serious like you're thinking, so don't worry too much about it. Don't lie. You wouldn't call him Goldie for nothing. Come on, Tosaka. I want as much information as possible right now. I stare at Tosaka. After a few seconds, she sighs as if she's given up. Well, he had many valuable-looking things, right? So I just thought he's really rich. That's why I called him Goldie. He looks like he's having a luxurious life, right? Tosaka scratches her cheeks while looking away. How scary. It seems anyone who's rich is called Goldie by Tosaka. What's more scary is that Tosaka figured out the servant's true nature just because he seemed rich. Anyways, that's another troublesome guy. There's not supposed to be an 8th servant, so he would be the Joker. I want to question Kirei as the supervisor, but I don't know his whereabouts. Well, we have to postpone that since Castro's more important right now. That's right. Castro's obtaining more power as we speak. Saber should not be able to oppose Castro's control much longer. No. In the worst case, Saber could already be under her control. Yeah. We couldn't get Iliasville to help, But that doesn't mean we can let them be. We'll just have to think of a way to beat Castor with the two of us. Yeah, we don't have any ideas, but we'll have to do. She sighs and sits on the rubble. Whew. I never thought we'd have a strategic meeting in a castle. I follow Tosaka's lead and sit down. Well, we'll have a bed to sleep in here. If we're lucky, we might even find some magical items I'm having such a hard time reading, of Iliasville's. And the moment we let her guard down. Get real, you're not going to defeat them just by yourselves. That's impossible, you idiots. A stunned voice comes from the front entrance. Gosh, when was the last time I did a voice for Lancer? Like episode 7 of the Fate route or something? Oh my gosh. We jump up and turn to face the speaker. Since that night, huh? It's great you two are still hanging in there. Lancer! I quickly concentrate and connect my magic circuit. He is certainly Lancer. He spared my heart on that night 10 days ago. I can't let it happen again. I have to let Tosaka escape before he attacks. Get away, Shiro. I'll keep him busy, so you run to the second floor. Run, Tosaka. I'll hold him back, so you run outside. Hold on. It seems you weren't listening to me at all when I told you to value your life. She lowers her hand and she lowers the hand she pointed at Lancer and points at me. But I have objections as well. Don't be stupid. I told you I won't heed your warnings. It's a guy's role to fight hand to hand. This is the second time I'm fighting him, and I'm more suited for it. That can't be true. He's a foot soldier. How can I, the ranged attacker, run away from an enemy with no ranged weapons? That's why. Can't you tell you'll die if he closes in on you? You can't just back up from a distance. Wait, did he say that you can just be back up from a distance? You idiot. I can't back you up. I don't know any magic that's that precise. I bet I'll blow you away along with him. Don't come out with your destructive personality. First of all, why do you always have to try to be flashy? Try doing something modest for a change. I can understand Castor not wanting you now. Oh. Why is it not letting me click forward? What? And we argue for a few minutes. When we begin to tire and wonder how this got started, I notice that Lancer's watching us with a smile. Oh, you're done? Oh, I'm in no hurry to finish it off. It's good to let out everything you have. I cough and glare back at Lancer. I take a half step forward and Tosaka is right behind me. Man, we should have done so from the start. Oh, hold on, I'm sorry to say this after you reached a compromise, but I don't intend to fight. I was just unable to ignore you guys. I'm butting in so that I can help you guys a bit. What? Hold on. What did he just say? Did I mishear you? I think I heard that you're helping us? Oh, is it hard for you to understand my point? I guess I'll rephrase it. You two are no match for Castor, so I will lend you guys a hand. I'm stunned, but Tosaka quickly grasps the situation. I see, you really are butting in. Is this really your idea? No, it's an order from my master. He wants to cooperate against Castor since he's alone. Well, we're just making a quick alliance until we defeat Castor. That's a sound reason, but I think there's a more reliable guy to talk to. Is she talking about Shinji and Gilgamesh? It seems Tosaka is trying to figure out if Lancer knows about them. No, they won't do. I don't want to ally with them. I have no complaints about his power, but it's too troublesome to worry about my back when I'm fighting. Oh, that's the correct choice. Lancer, is that an order from your master as well? That's wrong as well. I chose you two out of my personal interest. You guys are easier to talk to since we're acquaintances, right? He speaks plainly. It seems that fighting Archer and driving his lance through my heart are the same as becoming acquaintances in his mind. Hold on, Lancer. I was almost killed twice by you. Did you think I'm going to believe you? I do believe so. Your commander-in-chief is a good, frank woman. Such a good woman is helping you out, so you must be good-natured as well, right? I frown. I'm troubled that Tosaka is nodding at her enemy's words. So, that's it. That's why I thought we might be able to cooperate. Oh, but let me tell you, it's not you guys. I'm the one who thought that you guys would make good allies. I can't understand the difference. It's that he's saying that his master didn't think about it, but he did. Aren't you the cocky one? You brought on the proposal, but you're the one that's going to choose? Yeah, I've liked you since the first time I saw you. You're beautiful, stubborn, and courageous. If I'm gonna have a female master, I want someone like you. Lancer looks at Tosaka with cool eyes. Humph, I don't like him for some reason. Fine, I'm up for it, but it's not decided yet. If Emiya can't trust you, we have to break off negotiations. So, that's what she's saying. What will you do, kid? Your character is being tested. Lancer looks at me, trying to suppress his laughter. My answer is... I don't mind, but under one condition? I don't remember what that condition would be. I kind of want to click that one. I also kind of want to click this one. I'll just click this one. We have to accept his offer. Even if he's in... I just feel like this is the correct choice, so I'm picking it. We have to accept his offer. Even if he's an enemy, he's still right. Tosaka and I can't beat Castor, but we might have a chance of Lancers with us, but... Alright, I'll believe you. But it'll be under one condition. I'll accept your help in defeating Castor and will trust you. But... But what? You want me to tell you who my master is? No. Even though we're cooperating, stay away from Tosaka. The air freezes. Lancer's speech is like he's been sucker punched. Ha! I see. Yeah, that's so much more important than who my master is. You're right, kid. He starts laughing heartily. Is that bad? I'm telling you that you can't have Tosaka. That's not bad at all. Rather, I have a better opinion of you now. Wow, that's great, young lady. This has completely fallen for you. What are you saying? We're not like that. Yeah, we're just cooperating. Press X to doubt. Really? You're irritating. What's with that know-it-all face? Come on, say something, Shiro. Tell him we're just cooperating. Hey, say something, you idiot. This is if we really do love... This is as if we really do love each other. Hey, it's not as if. You two are already in love. Even I can tell, and I'm only watching it from the side. But she's actually denying it? This is troublesome, kid. Lancer makes a sympathetic gesture. Well, I already know Tosaka's troublesome. I dismiss his sympathy with a sour look. What? Oh, how reassuring. Then I shall take care when I socialize with her. But she's fun to tease, so I'm going to entertain myself while we're together. You don't mind that condition, right? All right, we'll go with that then. We'll have your help until we beat Castor. Then it's decided. Well, let's shake hands. Lancer walks to me unarmed and shakes my hand. There are worrying factors, but we're able to obtain a reliable ally. All that's left is... I'm so mad. Fine, I'm breaking my ties with you guys. I want to go beat Castor by myself. How can I calm her down? Lamau oofs. We walk through the dark forest. Although we don't know his intentions, having Lancer's help means we don't need to stay at the castle anymore. Lancer must have taken a liking to Tosaka, as he keeps messing with her and getting hit by her. Hey now, you have your own master, right? And you should stay quiet. We're going to be enemies after we beat Castor, so it does no good to be talking. Anything other than planning is unnecessary. What? We can't talk because we're going to be enemies? You have less composure than you look like you have, huh? It should be natural for you to drink until dawn with someone that gets along with you, even if it may be your enemy. Where are you from? All that friends today, foes tomorrow business is out of style these days. If we don't think things all the way through, it's rude to the other party. Wow, it sure became a boring world. Lancer does not learn his lesson. I think they've been repeating the same kind of conversation for a while now. More importantly, Lancer, you know what your role is, right? Huh? Yeah, leave it to me. You two are going to fight Castor and her master, right? My role is to fight Archer. I'll have to fight Saber as well in the worst case, but it won't be a problem if all I have to do is keep them busy. He speaks objectively. He isn't even scared of fighting Saber and Archer at the same time. Oh yeah, Saber commented on him when we were training in the dojo. She said Lancer is the best when it comes to surviving. She praised him, saying that with all his excellent agility and great experience, Lancer would be an impregnable wall if he went into defense. He must have fought many battles from disadvantageous positions when he was alive. This man ran through fatal battles like a panther and lived on. That's fine, but our enemy isn't just Archer and Saber. Castor also has Assassin. In the worst case, you'd have to fight 3. Oh, that's bad. I don't like that guy. I don't even want to fight him one-on-one, if I can help it. It's best to kill such a guy from a distance, but there's no point in worrying. Assassin won't be at the church. How can you say so? If Castor won't go back to the Ryoto Temple, wouldn't she call for her guard Assassin? No, Assassin is a servant that Castor summoned, but he has his limitations because of that. He is a heroic spirit summoned to that place. He can't leave the Ryoto Temple, and in any case, Castor won't call for him. He is a servant that Castor summoned without letting her master know. She will try to hide Assassin as long as they're at the church. I'm sure she won't let go of the Ryoto Temple either. She won't let go of the Ryoto Temple. Does that mean it's because of that mountain is the summoning place of the Holy Grail? Do you know? This is the 5th Holy Grail War, but there are only 4 possible places for the Holy Grail to be summoned into. 2 of the places are at the Ryoto Temple and the church. By the way, it was summoned at the church in the 3rd war. The 4th one was summoned in a plane somewhere. Oh, I thought you didn't think at all, but you're pretty well informed. It's just that my master is fastidious. I'm not interested in your doings. Okay, but I see. So the summoning this time has returned to the same place as the first time, huh? Tosaka starts to ponder. Lancer watches her with the light and walks on in the dark forest. The date has already changed. The day should be dawning by the time we get out of the forest. I mentally prepare myself as I walk. We will fight Castor again in a few hours. I won't hesitate, even if that girl would have turned into our enemy by then. We'll defeat Castor. I have to tell myself that is the most important thing right now. We head to the battlefield. No matter what may be awaiting us at the church at daybreak, we cannot stop now. Alright. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one for what I believe is the final day, if I'm not mistaken. There should only be 1 or 2 more days. I believe this is the last one. So yeah, that all being said, bye. Bye-bye. Bye. 5 outros. That's what you get. Alright, we're back with another episode. I said the previous episode was the last one I want to record for this session, but I lied. I want to keep reading. So anyways, let's keep reading. Before that, there's just one more conversation. Just as they exit the forest and when the sky is beginning to lighten up. Before they go to the church, she informs him of the facts she has kept hidden. I'll tell you right now, there's only one of the pendant that you gave back to me. There's only one of the pendant that you gave back to me. She does not tell him what that means, and he does not inquire about it. It is because such matters are unnecessary when they are about to face the greatest enemy, Castor. The one and only pendant. The one he found in her room and returned to her. The one he found on the night and put it into his desk. Now is not the time to ask about the contradiction. That's all I need to tell you. The pendant you found in my room is something Archer returned to me on the day you were attacked by Lancer. I thought he went and picked it up for me. The decisive battle is near. The tall church can be seen in the horizon. Ooh, they're laying it on thick. Tosaka says she wants to confirm one last time. Our roles are already set. Lancer will draw Archer and Saber away from Castor. We will use that opening to attack Castor. Lancer asks ironically if we would be able to beat her by ourselves. To that, yeah, I'm sure I can outwit Castor if I fight one-on-one with her. Tosaka answers with confidence. I don't know what she means by outwitting her. She didn't tell us even when we asked, so it must be a plan that will have a lower success rate if we know about it. Then what I need to do is fulfill Tosaka's demands. With all my might, I will keep Kuzuki from protecting Castor. If I need them, I will project his swords as many times as necessary. I close my eyes and dive inside myself. The magic circuit inside of me is stable. Magic beyond one's ability will destroy the caster. Half of my body became numb the first time. It was easy and nothing happened to me the second time. There's no guarantee the third time will be the same, but I don't think it's a problem to project his swords. My body is stable. The magic circuit that was hard even to construct is easily activated now. It's like there's a fake nerve behind my real nerves, and they are reversible with the push of a button. I'm trying to convince myself that it's because I've gotten used to it. I can easily prepare the swords. Projection has become my primary weapon. It's a big improvement over 10 days ago. It's not only my magic, my Tor technique has improved as well. The reason behind it. No, I try not to think about the reason. It's more important to beat Caster and take back Saber. Asking myself stupid questions can come after the battle. The headache gets stronger as I near the church. It's just like when I was looking for Tosaka, but I avoid thinking about it. The morning light is gray. The sun is blocked off by clouds obscuring the dawn's brightness. The sky above is gloomy. The sky is more gray than black, and it reminds me of that time 10 years ago. It should rain soon. An impure gray sky. Beneath it stands that man. I knew you would come, considering your personality. He stares at her with cool eyes. Tosaka doesn't say anything and stares back at him. So, what is the plan you've prepared? You're not the type to come attack without one. He sounds joyful. To that. Yeah, I'll be fighting you. The spearman in blue answers as he appears next to Tosaka. I'm surprised you made a contract with a new servant already. Oh, I'm surprised. You made a contract with a new servant already? Man, I know I'm not the one to talk, but you're pretty fickle. Switching sides may have been a good idea after all. I don't care. I don't care, Shiro. Don't let him provoke you. She stops me, still staring at Archer, but it's obvious looking at her face. She knows he's baiting her, but his words still hurt. I don't like you from the start, but it seems you're rotten to the core. I didn't like you from the start. Oh, does betrayal irritate you, Lancer? And you're not even the one who got betrayed. How faithful of you. I'm not supporting the young lady over there. I just don't like servants like you. Huh. A hero's pride, huh? Man, everyone says the same thing. Even Castro had such a ridiculous thing. What good is honor once you're dead? I honestly can't understand how you people think. What do you mean, you people? You don't have to. I'll make it easy so you don't have to think about it. There's no more need for words. All that remains is the intent to kill. With Lancers sharp and Archers calm. They are about 10 meters apart. The confrontation of the knights in blue and red is just like that night. Lancer, Tosaka calls out to the blue back. You two go inside. I'll catch up once I beat him. I know. But Lancer, Archer is... Yeah, I'll go easy on him. I need him to crawl back and beg for your forgiveness. He speaks without turning, grinning at Archer. Thanks. I'm glad you're the one who came to help us. We go around the two as we head to the church. The guard, Archer, lets us through unchallenged. No, he has to let us through. Archer's already confronting Lancer. Lancer will pierce him if he lets us distract him. He can either attack us and leave himself open to Lancer, or he can fight Lancer and let us go. If he really is guarding this place, the choice should be obvious. We run around the courtyard and open the door to the church without hesitation. Behind us. Man, this is troublesome. What is, Lancer? Well, I can't go easy after she makes a face like that. That's troubling, right? She makes a great master, but I'm not one that can readily betray my master. You are too easygoing, Lancer. Do you know the saying, grass is always greener on the other side of the fence? What are you saying? There's no way I know such a phrase. We don't have much time. We'll beat Castor before their match is decided. I know. Let's cut the talk from now on. You're sure you're all okay with fighting Castor alone, right? Yeah, I'm sure I'll be thoroughly cornered, but don't help me. You can just concentrate on keeping Kuzuki-sensei you can just concentrate on keeping Kuzuki-sensei away as long as possible. We go past the main area and head to the door leading to the courtyard. I won't hesitate if Tosaka says so, but I don't know if it's possible for me to back Tosaka up even if she's cornered. My opponent is Kuzuki. I won't be able to dodge his attacks if I'm paying attention to Tosaka. Caster's presence is getting closer. The church is filled with her magical energy, and she must not be hiding her powers anymore. I bet she already knows about our raid. Trace on. I carefully knit together the illusion using 8 steps. I'm getting the hang of it. His swords are in my hands within a minute. I feel a light headache. Even though I'm getting used to it, it takes a toll on my body. Projection is damaging my body deeper than I realize. Was it my imagination? I think Tosaka hung her head for a second. We go down through the darkness. We run down the stairs and come out into an open area. And after that, we jump down into the temple like I did before. Oh, you guys are like monkeys jumping down like that. I don't know why you're in such a hurry, but use the stairs if you're human. We land in the temple. This was supposed to be a surprise attack, but Caster greets us with composure. Kuzuki Suichiro is standing next to Caster. I don't feel any enmity or bloodlust from him. That's his battle posture. His clear, murderous intent is hiding the scariness of that man. In that regard, he's more like an assassin than servant assassin. Saber is on top of the altar. She's just like she was 2 days ago. Saber hangs there, her head bowed. I'm relieved we made it, but on the other hand, I'm worried about why she's so quiet. I think Saber was in pain before. She was shivering and gasping, resisting Caster's magic with all her might. But she's dead silent now. I have a bad feeling. It's great that Assassin's not here, but if this bad feeling comes true, we won't get out of here alive. I'm here, Caster. I thought about it thoroughly, but I've decided to have you eliminated. You're an eyesore. You get in my way, you annoy me, and I hate the way you look. You're like some backwoods hag with that purple robe of yours. Tosaka insults Caster, hoping to break her composure. She slowly closes the distance between them as she talks, radiating confidence she probably doesn't feel. I shouldn't be concerned about Saber either. Tosaka is facing Caster by going counterclockwise while I walk clockwise. Caster and Kuzuki. If we are to separate them, we have to attack them from different sides and isolate our enemies. Letting you go seems to have given the wrong impression. Why are Magi so reckless nowadays? No wonder Archer gave up on you. Tosaka's insults must have worked as Caster's glaring at her. How can you tell under her hood? I move while she does so. I move to the other side of Tosaka to a place where I can attack Caster from behind. Kuzuki watches me in silence. I thought so. There's no way this man would not notice our trick. Kuzuki knows what's going on. That we are trying to isolate our enemies and that Tosaka has some plan. Even with that in mind, he's letting Caster do as she wishes. It's not that Kuzuki is controlled by Caster. He is acting of his own free will. But still, his passivity is like that of a puppet. A servant skilled in magic as the backup, and a master skilled in hand-to-hand combat. The roles are reversed, and I think their natures are reversed as well. Caster seeks the Holy Grail frantically, while the master protects her without question. That makes me think. What if Caster was the master and Kuzuki was the servant who protected her? Maybe they wouldn't have fallen so low if that were the case. Tosaka glances at me. It means our positions are perfect. Then, the match will be settled when either one of us attacks. It doesn't matter if we get defeated or if Tosaka beats Caster before that. Our fight will end right here. Well, let us start. This is the 3rd time I've fought you. I'm getting tired of seeing your face, so I'll settle this right here. Tosaka takes a step towards Caster. You're talking big. I doubt this, but please do not tell me you honestly believe you can beat me. In that case, we don't even need a fight. I'll let you go again so that you can fix that brain of yours. Of course I can beat you. Isn't that right? There's no way a first-class Magus like me would lose to a third-class Magus like you. I see. I guess it can't be helped. It seems I need to discipline that arrogant mouth of yours, little lady. They get ready at the same time. With a few meters between them, they act like mirror images. That's the signal. I attack the defenseless caster. And of course, I'm stopped by Kuzuki. The ghost-like assassin is in front of me. I can't spare any attention for Caster and Tosaka's fight. He knows that what I intend to do. He will not let me buy time. Letting out the snake that even-cornered saber, Kuzuki Suichiro comes to take my life. I can hold him off for a minute at most. It should be the same for Tosaka. But originally, with our opponent's reverse, we had no chance of victory. Close-range fighting or magic, we have no way to beat our opponents who surpass us in skill. But looking at it the other way, we can at least put up a fight. Tosaka would be killed in an instant if she fought Kuzuki. I would be killed in an instant if I fought Caster. In contrast, we might not be able to win, but we won't be killed in an instant with this matchup. So in other words, this battle is not about how to beat one's opponent. Instead, this is a contest to see how long we can hold off an opponent of superior skill. To what end, though? Interlude 14-1. The two weapons clash. Twin swords and lance. The attacks are executed to take their wielder's neck. There's no hesitation in those attacks. Each strike is meant to kill. Even Lancer makes no exceptions. Even though he told Tosaka Rin, his ally, that he would go easy, that becomes secondary once the battle starts. It merely means that his lance happens to miss Archer's heart, and if it does not kill him instantly, he will refrain from finishing Archer off on the spot. Even in that case, his enemy will die in due time. The Lancer just needs to drag him to Tosaka Rin before that happens. Lancer does not care what happens after that. Also, I think I realized why my mouse isn't like, because I'm sure you guys can hear the clicking, but it's not like clicking immediately because it's a Bluetooth one, and I'm putting like I'm just kind of resting my arm down low, so that's probably why. The red demonic lance invades the enemy territory. The lance breaks through Archer's defenses each time it is thrust. It is not like that night. Archer cannot block Lancer's attacks now as he could then. It is only natural. This is their second battle. Lancer was under the command spell's bind. To learn his enemy's strengths, his master told Lancer. Fight against everyone, but do not defeat them. Survive your first battle against any opponent. That is the only order he was given. He has followed such an unreasonable command, and this is his first battle without any binds. Therefore, it cannot be like the last battle. There is nothing binding Lancer, and Archer is now forced to fight the fastest heroic spirit. A strained voice escapes Archer's mouth. Even his hawk-like eyes cannot follow Lancer's spear. The lance movements is a point to start with. And it is a flash of light now. He cannot discern the lance coming at him. Even Lancer's movements are becoming invisible now. He has been able to block such attacks until now because he had experienced them in a previous battle. He is doing what he can, using his inferiority as a weapon to block Lancer's furious onslaught. He is controlling where the attacks come. The Knight in Red limits the oncoming attacks by leaving fatal openings. Of course, he will die if he does not dodge the attacks, but if he can choose between instant death and getting slowly cut up, he prefers to risk instant death. Otherwise, it'll all have been for nothing. Fortunately, Lancer is still taking Archer lightly, or rather, he is lost in the joy of battle. If they are to keep on assaulting each other like this, he can think of another 30 ways to show an opening. Prediction using the information obtained, planning using cultivated battle experience. Those are the nerves of steel, the mind's eye, that one obtains through training. This is nothing extraordinary. This is the only skill he possesses. He is not innate like Saber's. It is not innate like Saber's instincts, but it is a simple weapon that anyone can gain through hard work. Lancer backs off and stops for a bit. He looks the red Archer over as though dissatisfied. It is obvious who is going to win. Archer has no chance of victory in hand-to-hand combat. No, that has been obvious from the start. If Archer is an archer, like his name states, that cannot be a match unless he's shooting from a long range. But still, he blocked the attacks. He is inferior and shall not last a few more blows, but he blocked Lancer's full force attacks. Is Archer strong, or is Lancer going easy on him? He laughs. He already realizes that Archer is a mysterious servant. He can admit that Archer is strong in that regard, but it is unthinkable for Lancer to be going easy. The first attack was aimed at the neck to chop off his head. The second attack was aimed at the heart to destroy his body. He cannot be going easy. He shouldn't be, but it is certainly true that he wasn't trying to kill Archer. How does one know that this sort of fight is serious? A battle between servants is a battle between noble phantasms. The fact that he is fighting Archer using his is proof that he is going easy on him. The reason behind it must be the thanks he heard earlier. Damn, are you kidding me? The weapons clash harder than before. The two spring apart in a shower of sparks. The full force attack by Lancer is nullified by the full force attack by Archer. And I actually need to go for just a moment, so I'll do a cut and then I'll be back. Okay, we be back. Hopefully I remember to edit that break out and not just make it its own episode, because I don't know how long this fight's gonna be, and we're probably just gonna cut it after it does a cutaway to anything else, or if there's a pause at any point for anything. They're about 5 meters apart. It is a distance Lancer can close in an instant. I don't get it. The spearman in blue murmurs. You switch to Caster's side even though you're this strong. You and Reen would have had no trouble with Caster. Lancer stops emitting murderous intent, but there's no opening in his stance. At that, Archer smiles a bit. I'm surprised. You're still saying such things? Lancer, I chose the path that has the highest possibility of victory. I do not care what Reen thinks, but I am sure there is no better plan than this. He speaks confidently, with no signs of guilt. The knight in red shows no regret about betraying his master. I see. I guess it was stupid of me to ask. Archer agrees. Lancer snorts and slowly raises the tip of his lance. You are certainly good at fighting. Your tactics will get you through many battles. But that is not the right way. Your swords are lacking in pride. His fighting spirit roars up. Even faced with this, the archer in red still smiles. Fortunately, I do not have any pride. But what about it? Will the name of the hero be disgraced? Do not make me laugh, Lancer. You can wash away disgrace with results. You can feed your meaningless pride to the dogs. In an instant, the slightly relaxed atmosphere changes. The air freezes. The magical energy to disturb the order of the world, the demonic lance that inverts cause and effect, is raised. His murderous intent is incomparable to his previous ones. Though the tension must make it difficult even to breathe. You said dog, Archer. The blue-armored spearman growls in a voice that could drive the crows from a battlefield. Yes, Kukulane. If you have pride as a hero, you should get rid of it right now. Well said. Then you can die first. Lancer jumps back a great distance. It is no longer a matter of thrusting his lance. There is over 100 meters between them. Lancer leapt back to the entrance of the clearing and crouches on all fours like a beast. Archer's senses freeze. Is it fear or awe? Either way, Archer understands right away the meaning of Lancer's retreat. He knows that his enemy's next attack is literally a fatal attack. You know about Gay Bullock's ability, right? Lancer, with his limbs on the ground, raises his waist. It's just like a sprinter waiting for the signal gun. Archer has no reply to spare. The knight in red throws away his swords and immerses himself in his own mind. But will he make it? Lancer's posture. If his demonic lance is just like the legend, a noble phantasm to block. It cannot be anything superficial. Here I come. Take this attack as your farewell gift. The Blue Panther runs. Even his after-image is a blur. Lancer speeds to Archer like a whirlwind. There are 100 meters between them. Lancer's not going to thrust his lance using that whole distance to gain speed. The blue figure crouches. After running 50 meters in an instant, the spearman suddenly leaps up from the ground. His body flies through the air. He holds the demonic lance said to always pierce the heart once it is thrust over his head. Space distorts, according to legend. That lance scatters numerous spearheads once it is released. In other words, gay! The lance of causality joins with the words to form a tapestry of action. The spearman in blue archers his back as if drawing a bow. Bulg! And he smashes down the attack with a roar. You know, whenever it comes to shouting, my mic technically can't peak because of settings, but I'm still scared that it will peak. This noble phantasm is a throwing attack by nature, a lance that never misses the heart, A cursed noble phantasm that cannot be avoided and will attack the enemy even if it misses. That is Gay Bolg, a lance of destruction possessed by the hero that... I love this theme. Lance of destruction possessed by the hero that never lost in his lifetime. As it is hurled using all of Lancer's magical energy, it can be neither dodged nor blocked. Therefore, it is fatal. There is no way for anyone to survive once they are targeted by the demonic lance. The bullet approaches. In a split second, the knight in red closes his eyes as if accepting his death. I am the bone of my sword. The thorn of light blazes forth, and right before the thorns of destruction coming from the heavens strike Archer. Ro-Ias. Its true name shakes the very air as it's spoken. Oh! Oh! I hate that all the action scenes have like 80,000 CGs, because like those are always what I want to use for my thumbnails. And then like everything else is just like, here's a picture. Like I made a thumbnail today and it's just rain just being there in the house. The lance crashes into the shield. The lance of death that penetrates every wall and outmaneuvers any evasion. That lance has been stopped. Radiating a storm of heat, the lance of sure kill is stopped by Archer's noble phantasm. The 7 flower petals appear from empty space and shield Archer from the demonic bullet. Who would know? The shield is Ias, the only shield said to have repelled the javelin of the great hero in the Trojan War. There are 7 barriers shaped like flower petals, and each layer is as strong as a castle wall. It is a boundary-filled noble phantasm that is said to be invincible against projectile weapons. A lance thrown will be defeated by a shield without penetrating even one of the petals. At the very least, Archer does not know of a lance that can penetrate this shield. But the lance of sure kill drills through the shield like it's nothing. The 6th petal is destroyed. Only one remains. The demonic lance reaches the 7th layer that has never been broken. The unstoppable thorn of a demonic lance. It is the face of that power. With a roaring spirit, Archer puts all his magical energy into the noble phantasm. After landing, Lancer glances at the servant in front of him. Archer has wounds all over his body. His raised arm is barely attached. His face is strained in pain, not only from the wounds on the arm, but also from the agony in his head. I'm surprised. I did not think there was a weapon that could penetrate the Ias. Your lance is stronger than the original Gungnir. The knight in red praises the spearman in blue from the bottom of his heart. But Lancer does not hear him. His strongest attack, the attack that made him a hero, has been blocked. He is so angry that his glare should be able to kill someone. But the anger is almost erased by his wonder. This is too strange. It is true that Archer is a mysterious servant. His identity is unknown. He carries twin swords even though he's an archer, and now he shows a shield that can even block Lancer's strongest attack. It is absurd. There is no such hero on this planet. Who are you? I'm just an archer. Your analysis was not incorrect. Bullshit. An archer would not have a shield to block a noble phantasm. I guess you can, under the right circumstances. But this is the result. I used up most of my magical energy. One of my arms is destroyed, and the Ias is shattered. Man, that was the greatest protection I had. Lancer only glares at Archer. Then, more importantly, have you noticed, Lancer? It seems Castra is in trouble. She is no longer supervising us. Archer raises both his hands as if in surrender. I see. I knew it. That was your intentions from the start, huh? Of course. I told you, right? I'll only take the route with the greatest chance of success. I really do hate you. Saying so, Lancer turns his back to Archer. His work is done. His role of keeping Archer busy is meaningless now. There is no more need for him to side with Tosaka Rin. The spearman in blue starts to walk away and lays down on the grass to wait and see. Interlude out. So with that happening, I will see all of you beautiful lads and lasses in the next one. And oh my gosh, we're getting so close to the end. Like, I tend to only record in like 3 of these a week is my goal. So I think there's probably only going to be like 3, maybe 4 more of them, potentially. It sort of depends on how long I go for, because like the last couple episodes of like Stay Night of the Fate route, I mean, were pretty long. I did those longer than the rest, so it just depends on how long I tend to go for the episodes. But yeah, I could see us being done with the UBW route in like 12 more episodes, which is crazy how much shorter this one is. Which isn't like a complaint. It's just so weird seeing the first one be like 77. Was it 77 episodes? I think it was exactly that, which is funny. But yeah, it's just funny that the first one was 77 and this one's probably gonna be like in the high 50s, low 60s, probably. So yeah, with that all being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.